Ever found yourself hopelessly drawn to someone who only breaks you? Do you chase love that leaves you feeling empty, invisible, and used? What if you could flip the script, control the attraction instead of being controlled? In this video, we dive into the powerful truths of dark psychology and the unshakable mindset of Stoicism. Why do toxic people feel so irresistible? How do they manipulate your mind and emotions? This is deeper than love. This is survival. Stay alert, stay awake, because once you understand this, you'll never be the same again. Ready to reclaim your power? Let's begin. 1. Emotional triggers exposed. Have you ever wondered why you're drawn to someone even when your mind knows they're not good for you? Why does your heart race, your mind spin, and suddenly you're willing to overlook red flags just to feel wanted? That's not a coincidence. It's the result of emotional triggers being activated. These triggers are powerful psychological buttons formed by your past, your insecurities, your emotional needs, and even childhood wounds. And when someone intentionally or unintentionally pushes them, it feels like attraction. But it's not a real connection. It's chemical chaos. Believe it or not, 78% of people have acknowledged that they have been attracted to somebody who later appeared to be a toxic or manipulative person, according to recent psychology studies. Love is not just unlucky, it is the ultimate proof of those people who are not consciously choosing their partners. We are launching our emotions from the subconscious. Whether it is to get accepted, noticed, or rescued, these elements are why emotions beat logic, or rather why women are, in most cases, emotionally very receptive due to social conditioning. These very triggers are what dark psychology makes use of to control the masses. By doing things like love bombing, gaslighting, and mirroring, manipulators are communicating that they understand you, not that they want to help you. Trigger words are usually handed out to these people to use against the victims. Thus, mostly, regardless of what they deserve, the emotional brain of the person will create the feeling of safety and hand over control to the manipulator. The truth is, without emotional awareness, we won't survive. Take time to think. Have you ever been instantaneously super attracted to somebody after a really deep conversation? Now that's not love, it's a psychological trick. You were triggered emotionally. For example, they could offer you empathy and a deep feeling of being comprehended. Or it could be that one new aspect was voiced that somehow connects with you, none of the others did. Maybe they told you they never felt this connection before, and boom, you were hooked. This isn't a weakness, it's human wiring. Our brains are built for connection, especially through vulnerability. But dark psychology uses this against you. It hijacks your emotions so you feel seen, when in reality you're being studied and controlled. A study showed that over 60% of women in emotionally toxic relationships said they knew something was wrong in the beginning, but ignored it because the emotional pull felt too strong. That's the power of an emotional trigger left unchecked. It's like a magnet pulling you into a pattern you never chose consciously. Now here's where Stoicism becomes your armor. Stoicism teaches us to create emotional distance between what we feel and how we act. Just because something feels good doesn't mean it is good. Stoics believe that you are not your emotions. You are the observer of your emotions. And once you learn to observe a trigger without acting on it, you break the cycle. You reclaim power. So how do you spot emotional triggers in real time? Start by noticing your body. Do you suddenly feel butterflies, tension, nervousness, or excitement with someone new, almost too quickly? That's a red flag, not a green light. Emotional triggers often create intensity, not intimacy. Ask yourself, what exactly about this person is making me feel this way? If the answer is vague, like, I don't know, I just feel something, pause. That's a sign you've been triggered. Next, reflect on your past. What did you crave most growing up? Attention, affection, security, approval? Those unmet needs become the triggers you're most vulnerable to. A person who reflects those missing pieces will naturally feel familiar, even if they're not safe. But here's the truth. Attraction based on pain is not destiny. It's programming. And you can reprogram it. How? Practice emotional detachment before emotional investment. Use the Stoic pause, a moment to step back, Observe your feelings and ask, is this attraction healthy or is it hijacking me? You'll be amazed how different your choices become when you wait, reflect, and protect your peace over chasing a feeling. This awareness doesn't make you cold, it makes you conscious. And conscious attraction is 100 times more powerful than compulsive attraction. You begin to attract from self-worth, not from woundedness. So ask yourself honestly, are you falling for people who activate your peace or your pain? If this is resonating with you, take a moment and comment below. Have you ever been in a relationship where you felt magnetically drawn but emotionally drained? Share your experience because your story might help someone else wake up. And if you're finding value in this content, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Every week, we dive into topics like women's psychology, emotional mastery, and hidden mental patterns that shape your relationships and self-worth. Because here's the truth. The more you understand your mind, the harder it is for anyone to manipulate it. Now stay with me, because next we're going deeper into Stoic mind control, how to use ancient Stoic techniques to regulate your emotions, silence mental noise, and gain absolute clarity in love and life. This next part might just change how you respond to everything. Ready? Let's go. 2. Stoic mind control. Next, we will discuss an important and often overlooked concept, Stoic mind control. This is the moment everything changes. In a world where women are emotionally pulled, played, and pressured by toxic partners, social media ideals, and even past trauma, Stoicism becomes a secret weapon. It doesn't mean shutting off your feelings or becoming cold. No, it means something far more powerful. It means becoming conscious of your emotions, mastering them, and no longer allowing them to drive you blindly toward people who don't deserve you. Ask yourself this. How many times have you felt a magnetic pull towards someone you knew deep down wasn't good for you? Studies show that over 68% of women in emotionally harmful relationships said they knew something was off early in the connection, but stayed because the emotional attachment felt too strong. This isn't weakness, it's conditioning. Society has conditioned women to believe that love should hurt, that obsession means passion, and that emotional chaos is somehow romantic. But here's the truth. Most of what we call chemistry is our trauma craving validation. Neuroscience even supports this. When a woman feels intense attraction to someone, the brain often lights up in the same areas associated with childhood emotional stress and unmet needs. That's not fate. That's a trauma bond. Stoic mind control breaks that cycle. Stoicism teaches us that while we cannot control what happens externally, we can completely control how we respond internally. Imagine this. Instead of obsessing over someone's late reply or trying to decode mixed signals, you pause, you reflect, you take a breath and ask yourself, is this person aligned with my values or just triggering my abandonment issues? That one moment of pause is everything. The Stoics believe that power lives in the gap between stimulus and response, that brief space where we get to choose instead of react. This is where emotional freedom is born. With practice, women can learn not to chase love, but to choose love based on clarity, compatibility, and calm. This shift is life-changing. Studies show that people who regularly practice emotional regulation, such as pausing before reacting, are over 40% more likely to be seen as confident and emotionally secure, qualities that make them more attractive. But here's the deeper transformation. You no longer need to be attractive to anyone else, because you are finally attracting yourself back to your truth, your center, your peace. Stoicism allows you to become so emotionally grounded that no one can manipulate you with guilt, silence, or flattery. You're no longer addicted to the highs and lows of toxic love because you've trained your mind to stay steady. So how do you start this shift? Begin by building awareness. Every time you feel that emotional wave, the craving, the overthinking, the hurt, don't respond right away. Write it down. What triggered it? What story are you telling yourself in that moment? Then breathe. Remind yourself that feelings are not facts, they are signals. They are not commands. You don't have to obey them. Create distance between what you feel and what you do. That distance is your freedom. Also, practice emotional detachment. This doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop clinging. It means loving someone deeply but being okay without their validation. It means being kind but with boundaries. Stoicism allows you to love without losing yourself, to give without being drained, and to walk away when your peace is threatened. Over time, you'll notice the change. The person who used to emotionally wreck you no longer controls you. The text that once made your heart race now barely moves you. You've shifted from reactive to reflective, from needy to grounded, from chasing love to becoming love. This doesn't mean you won't feel pain, but it means the pain won't drown you anymore because you've anchored yourself in truth, in values, in your inner calm. And here's something emotional but true. You are not hard to love. You've just been taught to crave the wrong kind of love, the kind that demands you to shrink, beg, or bleed emotionally just to be noticed. Stoicism helps you unlearn that lie. It helps you rebuild from the inside out. You become so emotionally stable that manipulation, gaslighting, and love bombing no longer work on you. You see them for what they are, distractions from your purpose and peace. And maybe that's the greatest superpower a woman can have in this modern world. The ability to stay soft, kind, and loving, but unshakably strong in her emotional core. So if you've ever asked yourself, why do I fall for people who hurt me? Or how do I stop getting emotionally attached so fast? Then this is your moment. You're not broken, you're awakening. And if you have a question about this topic, anything that you want clarity on, please leave a comment below. Your question might help another woman who's silently struggling. And if this message has touched you, even a little, if you felt seen, heard, or empowered, then please like this video and subscribe. It's not just support, it's a sign that more women are choosing emotional freedom, inner power, and real self-love. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing yourself. The journey isn't easy, but with Stoic mind control, you'll never go back to emotional slavery again. Next, we will discuss an important and deeply emotional topic: how to break toxic bonds. 3. Break toxic bonds. These bonds are not always obvious. Sometimes they feel like love, passion, or destiny. But behind the intensity is pain, confusion, and emotional exhaustion. Have you ever asked yourself why you keep going back to someone who drains your peace, disturbs your mental clarity, and leaves you feeling not enough? You're not alone. Nearly 64% of people in unhealthy relationships admit they stayed far longer than they should have. Not because they didn't see the truth, but because they couldn't escape the feeling. This isn't just about emotion. It's about how our brains are wired. When someone gives us intermittent affection, love one moment, coldness the next, it triggers the brain's reward system. Chemicals like dopamine and oxytocin flood your system, creating a bond that mimics addiction. Yes, science has confirmed this. Toxic love can be just as addictive as drugs, and breaking free is not as easy as walking away. It's about rewiring your entire emotional response. Now let's understand why breaking toxic bonds feels nearly impossible. People with manipulative tendencies, narcissists, emotional abusers, or gaslighters, don't always hurt with fists or insults. They hurt with silence, guilt, mixed signals, and manipulation. Over 73% of individuals in such relationships say they knew something was wrong, but couldn't explain why they stayed. That's because manipulative people use emotional fog to keep you stuck. They create trauma bonds where chaos, apologies, and hope are mixed in a toxic cocktail. And this cycle keeps repeating until your identity becomes entangled in their validation. From a dark psychology perspective, manipulators know exactly how to exploit your empathy. They know how to say just enough to keep you confused but hopeful. And as shocking as it sounds, 52% of people in toxic dynamics mistake the emotional highs and lows for passion or love. So how do you finally break free from this invisible prison? First, acknowledge the pattern. You can't heal what you refuse to name. If someone constantly shifts blame onto you, invalidates your feelings, or disappears when you need them most, then showers you with affection later, that's not love, it's manipulation. Second, if possible, go no contact. This means cutting off all access, social media, texts, calls. If you cannot go fully no contact due to shared responsibilities, use the gray rock method. This involves making yourself emotionally dull, neutral responses, minimal interaction, and no reactions. In one behavioral psychology study, gray rocking reduced manipulative behavior by over 40%, proving it drains the manipulator's power when you stop feeding them emotional energy. Third, you need to rewire your brain. This is the hardest part. You have to reprogram your beliefs. Instead of saying maybe they'll change, you must affirm, this cycle is destroying me. Your mind must begin associating the emotional highs not with love, but with damage. With consistent emotional distance, the brain begins to heal itself. Research shows that in just 21 days, the brain can start breaking the addictive thought patterns, thanks to neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change. But emotional detachment doesn't mean becoming cold. This is where Stoicism comes in. Stoic wisdom is about mastering your emotions, not denying them. When you feel triggered, angry, or desperate, don't act. Observe. Stoics believe that peace is found not by changing others, but by controlling your response to them. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. The moment you stop seeking closure, explanations, or justice from the person who hurt you, you take your power back. That silence you fear, it becomes sacred. That distance you resisted, it becomes your healing space. Most importantly, breaking toxic bonds requires you to rebuild your identity. Toxic relationships erode your self-worth. So the final step is rediscovering who you are without them. What are your boundaries? What gives you joy when no one's watching? What are you no longer willing to accept? This is not selfish, it's survival. And here's the raw truth. Letting go of someone who hurts you does not mean you failed. It means you finally chose yourself. If you're still wondering, why can't I just walk away? Maybe ask yourself this instead. Who am I without their control? That question alone can shake the cage you're stuck in. If anyone has a question about this, please comment below. Share your experience. Your words might help someone else find clarity. And if this message resonated with your soul, if it helped even a little, then please like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're building a space where psychology meets emotional power, where truth becomes healing. Remember, you are not weak because you love deeply, but you become unstoppable the moment you decide to stop loving blindly. Breaking toxic bonds isn't just about ending a relationship. It's about reclaiming yourself, rebuilding your voice, and protecting your peace. You deserve that, and it starts now. When you step back and choose distance, something powerful happens. You stop chasing, and they start noticing. Your silence becomes your strength, forcing them to face the void you left behind. Your absence turns into a mystery, reigniting their curiosity and emotional pull. You stop explaining yourself, and suddenly your self-respect glows brighter than ever before. They feel the fear of loss, realizing they may have underestimated your value. Your shifted energy from emotional dependence to inner peace is magnetic. You create an emotional contrast that shows them what life feels like with and without you. And at the core of it all, there's always that unfinished connection, the invisible thread they can't seem to cut, no matter how far you go. These 7 reasons aren't just patterns, they're proof of your worth. You didn't chase, you stood in your power, and that's exactly why they came back. If this message resonated with you, drop a comment, share your story, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more truth, healing, and strength. Thanks for watching Your Journey Matters.